people from different countries, not just from America, can enroll in your school, your online
Yes,
school.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Anybody, even if you're in Kenya, even if you're in Tanzania, even if you're in Nigeria, even if you're in South Africa, Asia, Europe, name it. Someone was recruiting for Apple, INC, Apple Data Center here in Arizona, saw my resume, and she calls me up and she was like, "Oh my God, are you actively looking for a job? Like, I'm hiring for Apple and I like your resume. Would you like me to interview you?" I'm like, "Oh, Apple? Oh, all right, why not?" So yeah, I got the offer. I joined Apple Data Center. I was supposed to. I usually go to work 3 days a week, 2 days remote, and that is where I am.
Okay.
Till now. Why that was a win for me, because Apple is a very big rival with Microsoft.
Question for you. Because I know a lot of people are gonna want to know this one. Somebody taking these classes, let's say from Kenya, let's talk about Kenya, because this is what Jano is about. But of course, you're open to people from other countries. So I'm gonna use Kenya or Africa as an example. Somebody enroll in your classes. Maybe they just finished high school in Kenya, or maybe they just want a new career direction. They are done with their 4 months with you. Do they have to take internship in Kenya, or will they have an opportunity maybe to get internship in, like, let's say in America, in Europe, in Malaysia, India, whatever, or do your students have to do internship in the country where they reside?
Now, thank you so much. That's a very good question, Liz, that you've asked. So now, even for those who are outside the US, or for instance Africa, because that is the example that you've given.
Yeah.
So after training with us, we are giving people 3 options to choose. 3 continents to choose from. If you want to work in North America, there's Canada and the US.
Yeah.
If you want to work in South America, there's Argentina and Brazil. If you want to work in Europe, if you want to work in Asia, if you want to work in Australia, we have companies all over the world. So we give you 3 choices. So I was advised to use these sites to apply for jobs.
Yeah.
It didn't take me long.
When was this? We're talking about how long ago?
This was actually after Corona, because I came to this country in the year 2020.
2020, we just got into 2024,
2023.
so during COVID, so about 3 years or so? 3 years? Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's impressive.
I was able to actually join JP Morgan, I think on my 4th month here as an associate banker.
4th month and
Yeah.
you joined JP Morgan?
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Okay, so you have your resume all prepared. What was the interview process like with JP Morgan? That was your first interview in America in such a huge corporation or bank. What was that like for you, going to your first interview, sitting across the table? And then how many interviews did you have to do? And how did they feel like, hey, you hired, you just got here from Kenya, but now you have this job with JP Morgan?
In a world where opportunities are boundless and connections pave the way for success, there's one event that stands out above the rest. The Jambolist Expo 2024. After a resounding success in New Jersey, Jambolist is back. From May 24th to May 27th, join us for an unforgettable journey at the Jambolist Expo 2024 as we celebrate Memorial Day weekend in a grand fashion, a weekend where dreams meet opportunity. Together, we are unlocking those 2 possibilities. So maybe you're wondering what sets the Jambolist Expo apart. It's where every business begins with Jambo, a gathering of brilliant minds, innovative ideas, and limitless potential. This isn't just an expo. It's a convergence of industry titans, thought leaders, and aspiring entrepreneurs, all united by a shared vision of growth and success. For more details and inquiries, don't forget to reach us through our social media pages our phone numbers, and our website at www.jumbolist.com. Jumbolist. Every business begins with Jumbo.
Oh, there you go. Hello, Mary. How are you?
Very fine, thank you. Yourself?
I am doing fine. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for coming to the show tonight. I appreciate you gracing my show. I know you just got home from work and you had the time to be here with me. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. And you're going to tell us who you are so that you're not a stranger or a mystery.
Yeah.
So tell us about you. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? Where did you come from?
All right. Thank you so much, Liz, for giving me this opportunity to be here and speak to your viewers. I don't take this for granted. And by way of introduction, my name is Mary Washeke Monene. Of course, I was born in Kenya. I'm a Kenyan by birth. I was born in the Great Mount Kenya region in a county called Kiambu County, Kikuyu to be precise, Kabete location. That's where I grew up as a kid. Then from there, I went to high school, still in Kiambu County, but now Githunguri location. I did my KCSE, passed well, thank God, and I got admitted to Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, and that is where I joined to do my bachelor's. In fact, I was admitted to do actuarial science. Yeah, Bachelor of Science in Actuarial Science. I had passed well, but during our time, Bachelor of Commerce Finance was doing super well. In fact, I had a cousin who was doing Bachelor of Commerce at Kenyatta University. He got picked by KPMG on his 4th year. So the family members were like, you know what? You're not going to JKUAT to do actuarial science. You've seen how your cousin has done well. He has actually been picked from university. You can imagine. You can imagine. Guka is like, can you do BCom?
Yeah.
Why are you telling us about actuarial science?
Okay.
So I had to change direction and did BCom finance, which was still okay because I had passed well in business courses and mathematics. Right? So I did 4 years at JKUAT, and eventually I finished and I passed well because I got second class upper division. So I just lost few marks to get first class honors.
Okay.
Then from there, eventually after that, I started doing my CPAs. You know, CPAs and the BCom supplements each other very well. So once you have the two, joining the big four audit firms was super easy during our time. So that is where I started. CPAs, as I also tried to look for jobs. It wasn't easy, but I had to do some internships here and there. But eventually, God is good. I got a job as, finance officer at Jubilee Insurance, right? So that is where I worked. I worked, finished up my CPAs until I got a chance now to move to the US.
All right. So how long did you work in Kenya? How many years?
A couple of years, like maybe 6 to 7 years.
Okay, 6 to 7 years after college, yeah?
After college, yeah.
Okay, cool. So now let's talk about your transition then from Kenya to America. What was that like for you? And was America what you thought it was? Was there any culture shock for you when you got here? Talk to us about that whole move from Kenya to America.
I can't say it was a big of a shocker, to be honest, because you see now I was already used to the corporate world, African, and this corporate world, they are not different, you know.
Yeah.
Balance sheet is all the same, P&L accounts are all the same. So when I got here, of course I took some time, to get my work permit and all that kind of stuff, but eventually I got it. So of course I talked to some few people here and there regarding where to start. How do you guys like make resumes? Because in Kenya we call them CVs.
CV, yes.
Yeah. So CV. So over here it's resume. Things change. Definitely I needed guidance. I also have I also have a cousin who is in corporate America in Dallas.
Okay.
She also guided me very well, and of course, some
Okay.
few friends here and there. I'm I'm very much active in LinkedIn,
Okay.
so I had some few friends who were even working with Deloitte over here, so they guided me.
Okay.
And so with their guidance, I was able to actually join JP Morgan, I
Mm-hmm.
think on my 4th month here as
Wow.
an associate banker.
4th month and you
Yeah,
joined JP Morgan.
yeah,
What
yeah.
state
So
was that? Was that
that was Arizona. That was
Arizona?
Arizona. That was
Okay.
Arizona. Yeah. So I cannot say that the transitioning coming here took me a lot of time.
Yeah.
I didn't. So as
Okay.
long as as long as I had my work permit and
Mm-hmm.
my resume was good, I was advised to use these sites
Yeah.
to apply for jobs.
Yeah.
It didn't take me long.
Tell us about that. Okay, so you have your resume all prepared. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what was the interview process like with JP Morgan? That was your first interview in America in such a huge corporation or bank. What was that like for you going to your first interview, sitting across the table? And then how many interviews did you have to do? And how did they feel like, hey, you hired, you just got here from Kenya, but now you have this job with JP Morgan.
Um, I think with me, I didn't come with that mindset of that I'm in a new country.
Okay.
Sometimes people get shocked. People tend to fear the system. I
Yeah.
think I translated. It was like I've worked in corporate Kenya. There's no difference. The only
Mhm.
difference is like in Jubilee Insurance, we used to deal with insurance
Yeah.
products. JP Morgan,
Yeah.
systems are all the same. Processes tends to be the same. The only difference is the products. They are selling
Okay.
banking products. So
Yes.
what I did when they called me for interview, I made sure that I know the bank in and out. I know the products. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I understood my role in and
Yeah.
out. So by the time I was facing the recruitment panel,
Yeah.
I knew my thing. And the
Mm-hmm.
good thing with myself is that I tend to believe in myself so much.
Mm-hmm.
If this job is meant for me, I go with that mentality. If
Okay.
this job is meant for me, I will get it. Sometimes even we tend to fear so much, or
Mm-hmm.
we tend to have no confidence in ourselves. But I think for me, I'm like, you know what? I know I have the good education. I know I have experience.
Yeah.
I've worked with C-suite. It's not the first time,
Mm-hmm.
despite the name JP Morgan. So
Yeah.
so I was like, I was just myself. You
Okay.
know,
That's good.
yeah.
That's
So
good.
I went there with confidence, and thank God I was able to pass the interview, and I
Mhm.
got the job.
Wow, that's good. And when was this? We're talking about how long ago?
This was actually after Corona, because I came to this country in the year 2020.
2020, just got into
2023.
2024, 20,
Mm-hmm.
so
24,
during
yeah.
COVID, so about 3 years also,
Mm-hmm.
3 years. Oh,
Yes.
wow, that's
Mm-hmm.
impressive. So 3 years.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
then now you have this job with JP Morgan. How long do you
Yes.
work there? And uh, are you still there or where do you go next?
So I worked with JP Morgan
Mhm.
as a personal banker. And I have a group of professional friends who
Mhm.
like we help each other professionally. So
Yeah,
for those of us who were able to leave the country, some went to Europe for masters. I was
yeah.
coming here for masters as well.
Mhm.
We were like, we cannot go to Western countries
Mhm.
and still work as, we have to work as analysts. So I was coming here to work as an analyst as I do
Mhm.
my masters.
Okay.
So when I joined JP Morgan,
Mhm.
my intention was to work for like 6 months, then
Mhm.
eventually translate into a finance analyst, because
Okay.
remember, I have experience. I've worked with
Yes.
them now for 6 months. So what will make me not to become an analyst? And I'm
Okay.
a very stubborn girl. When I want something, I really go
You
for
go
it
for
very
it.
badly. Yeah, and I
Okay.
don't care whether I came from Nairobi yesterday or today in the morning. If I'm qualified for that position,
Mhm.
I'll go for it. I don't
That's
settle for
amazing.
less.
That's good.
So now,
Mhm.
after 6 months, Liz,
Mhm.
the branch manager was like, "No, Mary, you cannot start talking about getting a promotion as an analyst." You
Yeah.
know. So what made me mad is the
Mhm.
fact that, because I had interviewed as an analyst, by the way,
Mhm.
at
Mhm.
JP Morgan already,
Mhm.
within the bank, and I had gotten a position as a credit analyst.
Mhm.
But now that was like in the corporate side. That
Yeah.
was in Phoenix, remember?
Mhm.
So now my manager was like, "No, you cannot come here." In fact, she was like, You just came here from Nairobi, and now you are talking about getting promoted." So me, I
Yeah.
told her, I've been interviewed, and they felt I'm qualified for that position. So why don't you let me just go for it?
Yeah.
So what annoyed me is that she was like, "You cannot come here and find people who have worked in this position for like 2 years, and
Mhm.
you get." You
And
get
you think you can be
promoted.
promoted where they still haven't been promoted, yeah?
So that annoyed me, Liz, because I
Yeah,
was like, if they're not applying for promotions,
that's
that is
on
not my
them.
problem. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot argue with me on that
Yeah,
ground.
yeah.
So she started telling me, no, in fact, she was super mad. I
Mm-hmm.
think she hasn't seen somebody who just comes in, in new in the country. You've
Mm-hmm.
gotten a position as a banker. You want to get promoted after 6 months. Not, I had applied for that position. I got called for an interview and I passed. So I didn't see
Mm-hmm.
where the big deal was coming from.
Yeah.
So she was like, no, Mary, you have to, she started mentioning big names, to scare me off.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, now, tomorrow morning, I'll have a meeting with the marketing director for Phoenix, and we
Mm-hmm.
have to talk about this. You have to wait
Yeah.
until, it became a very big of a deal.
Do you think she was trying to intimidate you when she was
Yeah, and that is
mentioning?
what happens is when people come over here,
Yeah.
they're like, they just tend to fear the system. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, I can't, I can't work at that
Yeah.
corporate. I
Yeah.
can't get that position. No, me, I
Yeah.
think on my end, I'll push you until you give me that job that I want.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what, this is not my place.
Mm-hmm.
If I cannot get promoted and I had gotten that job,
Mm-hmm.
this is not my place. That
Wow.
is when some friends talked to me about analytics. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, I had this discussion with one of my friends who was in analytics already here in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you know what, just stick at that position, because people know I'm stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
Just stick as a banker with JP Morgan.
Yeah.
Then you can take the analytics classes. Then eventually you finish up analytics classes.
Yeah.
They can then promote you as a data analyst or a business analyst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then I was like, okay, let me just give it a try. So that is when now I started taking the data analytics classes.
Okay, so these classes, are you enrolling in a college or how are you doing these analytics classes?
It's a boot camp, so you just do them weekends. They are
Oh,
usually
okay.
called boot camps because they can facilitate those who are working full time. So it was
Okay.
just a boot camp that I did over the weekend.
Okay.
So I took this boot camp and for 4 months, and
Mm-hmm.
immediately I finished
Mm-hmm.
because I was super tired. I wasn't super tired with JP. JP Morgan is
You
a
are
great
not
company,
happy.
but I was tired with my manager.
Yeah.
The fact that I cannot get promoted
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I have found people who have worked there for 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me,
You just came
and I
from
cannot be
Nairobi.
promoted. I just came. In fact, the fact that started saying that I
Yeah.
came from Nairobi, that
Yeah.
one, she was in my mind a lot. So I was like, you
Okay.
know what? I'll surprise you one of these fine days.
Okay.
So I did my data
Mm-hmm.
analytics classes very
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked super hard, by the way. It's not easy. Analytics is not easy. It's not a walk in the park. You really have to put in work. You have to do assignments. You have to do projects, group discussions, name it. But I
Yeah.
was super determined to do it because I was also super determined to work as an analyst. Remember, when I left Nairobi with my group of professional friends, we are like, you know what? We cannot go to Europe and America to work. We have to work there as analysts.
Yeah.
From there we go for supervisory positions.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I felt like if I didn't work as an analyst, I was
Mm-hmm.
not growing in my career.
Yeah.
So that when I finished my analytics, after 3 weeks, I got a job.
Mm-hmm.
I started getting a lot of offers, paying
So
a lot of.
now, when you're done with your analytics classes, which you
Mhm.
said took you 4 months, so
Yes,
are you just hoping to get a promotion within JP Morgan, or are you sending out your resume to different companies, trying to find
both,
job?
With I think with corporates over here, you are if you look for a promotion within the
Mm-hmm.
bank,
Mm-hmm.
before 1 year, your manager has to approve it. And remember, it's like she's against it because I just came
Mm-hmm.
from Nairobi and there are
Yeah.
people who are. So I knew there was this back and forth with her.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let me even try to look for other jobs elsewhere outside. So I
Mm-hmm.
was applying internally and still externally.
Okay.
So after 3 weeks, after finishing data analytics, after 3 weeks, I got an offer still in
Mm-hmm.
Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
but the pay was even way better because it was a business data analyst position.
Okay.
In fact, yeah, so the pay was good. It was a very huge position.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to move, right?
Okay.
Plus I was also determined now to I told you from the word go, I was determined to work as an analyst, not as a
Yes.
banker.
Yes.
Yeah, so I left JP Morgan and I joined now the new bank, the new organization. It was in Scottsdale, Arizona, where I was working as a business data analyst. That is where my analytics journey started. I
Okay.
worked there for 4 months.
Okay.
And I think also when I left JP Morgan, I also started my master's in business analytics.
Okay. So
Because
you go
when
back
I
to
joined
school.
the when I
You
joined analytics. I've gone back to school now to do my master's, because
Okay.
now I have data analytics certifications.
Yes.
I've gotten a job as a business data analyst, and
Yeah.
now I've got to school to do my master's.
Yeah.
Wow. So joining the position as a business data analyst, my supervisor,
Mhm.
my supervisor left the company, resigned after 2 days. So
Mm.
I was given that position. So I was to work as a senior business intelligence analyst, right?
Wait,
You can imagine I'm just
with your new job, the
new
new
company.
job,
Yeah, with my
after
new
2
job. Yeah,
days
yeah,
working there, the supervisor
yeah, yeah.
resigned and they gave you
Yeah,
the
yeah. So
position.
yeah, because you see now I'm
Wow.
coming on board as I've done analytics, I've
Okay.
enrolled for my master's. So nobody was qualified to take that position. Plus,
Okay.
remember also, Liz, analytics is not a very flooded field. So
Okay.
not so many people
People.
have those kind of skills. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So it's still not very flooded. So I got that position. It was good. It was a good learning point because you see now after my supervisor resigned, he had to transit everything now to me.
Yeah.
You see, so that was a very good learning curve because when somebody is resigning, he has to hand over everything to you.
Yeah.
So I used that position now to even understand better.
Yes.
So it wasn't easy at first, please. Remember, I'm still fresh from school,
Yes.
right? In analytics, I don't have any experience.
What type of company were you working for after
It was a medical. It was a
medical? Okay.
medical. It was a medical
Okay.
institution, but now I was on the corporate side, whereby you
Okay.
just deal with data and reports.
Okay.
So me, I
Got you.
wasn't in the medical field. I was in the corporate side now, dealing with
Yes.
data and reports.
Yes.
It wasn't. I'm a good learner. Plus, I believe when you are keen in learning something, when you're determined to learn something, Liz, when you're focused to it,
Yeah.
you will get it.
Yeah.
So the transition was good. It wasn't. I can't tell you it was a walk in the park. But eventually I managed to settle down well. So maybe after like 2 months, I was able to settle down well, and now I'm doing my master's, and life is good. I'm happy. I'm an analyst.
Yes.
I had been in the US for less than 1 month, and I'm working already as an analyst. So I was like, you know
Wow.
what?
Less
That
than
was
a
a
year.
tremendous growth.
Less than a
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, less than a year. So after 4 months,
Mhm.
I was like, you know what, because these jobs are not flooded, Liz. So
Yeah.
sometimes you get even juicy offers on
Wow.
online, like Indeed.
Wow.
So I was like, you know what, because my resume is good, let me just like I wasn't like applying because I'm desperate to look for another job,
Yeah.
but because I've seen a position that is maybe paying even better with plus complex roles, I was like, you know what, let me just throw my resume here and there.
Yeah.
So it landed into the hands of somebody who was recruiting for Apple. Imagine, I didn't know.
And is
So
this
they
from
just called.
LinkedIn, or are you going through some recruiting agencies?
No, indeed.
Okay.
So someone was recruiting for Apple, INC, Apple Data Center here in Arizona, saw my resume, and she calls me up and she was like, oh my God, are you actively looking for a job? Like, I'm hiring for Apple and I like your resume. Would you like me to interview you? I'm like, oh, Apple? Oh, all right, why not? So she was like, oh, it's okay, I'll just interview you. I like your resume. I'll forward it to, the hiring manager at Apple. And if they like you, you'll just be called for an in-person interview.
Yeah.
So she sent my resume to Apple hiring manager, and apparently Apple loved my resume. And they called me for an in-person interview. So even when I was going for an in-person interview, I was like, behind my mind, I was like, wait, I just have experience in this country for even less than a year.
Yeah.
This is Apple. What are you telling me that they don't even have anybody from Harvard they can hire?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only person they want to hire is, you know what I mean? I just came
Yeah.
from Nairobi the
Yeah.
other day. But I told you from the beginning that me, in terms of confidence,
You got
that
it.
one,
You're a go-getter. You got it.
I'm a go-getter.
You
If
are
this job
not
is meant to
scared.
be mine,
Yeah.
if this job doesn't even matter whether I came from Nairobi this year, I'll get
Yeah.
this job. Guess what?
Yeah.
I go to Apple,
Mm-hmm.
and we were interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, Apple, I was like, you know what, let me just go for the sake. Remember, I'm still working as a business data analyst. So I
Yes.
wasn't desperate looking for a job. But since they have called me, I'm like, you know what, let me just
Let me
avail
go.
and go. So I went there. Oh my God, the questions I answered the questions very well. In fact, to the point of even, I was asking even the hiring people, do you have any other question for me?
Wow.
And they never saw somebody who is,
So how many people were interviewing you at
two
okay, two
managers
people.
working at
Okay.
Apple, two people. but I answered the questions very well because remember I've been a senior business intelligence analyst for almost 4 months now with my
Yeah.
new company.
Yeah.
And then another thing that really helped me with
Mm-hmm.
that interview, of all the people who were being interviewed, I was the
Mhm.
only one who had enrolled for my master's. So the
Mhm.
rest maybe were good,
Yeah.
but nobody else had enrolled for masters in business analytics because I even asked them,
Mm-hmm.
what did you like most about me? Sometimes it's good to ask questions.
Yeah.
How did I perform? What did I not answer well? So may I ask
Yeah.
them, what did you like most about me? They were like, the fact that you're the only one who has enrolled for business in masters in business analytics. That's a tick.
Mm-hmm.
Because for Apple, why that was a win for me,
Mm-hmm.
because Apple is a very big rival with Microsoft, and most
Mm-hmm.
of the tools that we use, data analysts use, they usually tools from Microsoft. So
Wow.
they usually know that most people have been trained or have experience working with Microsoft tools,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have experience working with Apple tools,
Apple.
because Apple, they
Yeah.
have their own, they have their own phones, they have their own
Oh, please.
computers,
And the
they have their own
computer.
everything.
I remember buying my first Mac computer. I was like,
Mhm.
what in the world is this? Like everything is opposite
It's
of
different.
what I'm
Every
used to. Yep.
different.
Yes.
I don't know why they complicate their
Yeah.
tools very much, but once you
Yeah.
get used to it,
Yeah. And
you'll never get out
you're
of
hooked
that.
up. Yeah. Once you get used to it, you never go back.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's good. That's good. So now they tell you you're the only person who is enrolled in this.
Mhm.
You're taking your master's class, you got the job. So they know you're gonna be not just an asset now, but in future you're gonna be very useful to the company once you are done with
Yes.
master's.
Yes, and the reason why it was also a win for them, for somebody who is enrolled in school, because they knew,
Mm-hmm.
like I've told you, they know most people have not are not aware on how to use the Apple tool. So they need
Yeah.
somebody who likes, somebody who is school oriented to come
Yeah.
and start training on how to use. Like now, the way you had some difficulties using Mac at first, so you had maybe
Yes.
somebody to take you through, right? So same
Yeah.
with their tools, analytics tools.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got the offer. I joined Apple Data Center.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to. I usually go to work 3 days
Mm-hmm.
a week, 2 days remote, and that is where I am
Okay.
till now.
So when did you start working for Apple?
Um, let's say like 10 months ago.
About 10 months. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And
because
they
my
so
1 year anniversary.
they
Mhm,
they have you going to the office for 3 days. The other 2 days
mhm.
you work from home.
I work from home. So
Okay.
Mondays and Fridays I work from home. Tuesdays, Wednesday, and Thursday, that's when I
You
go
go to the
to
office.
the office. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not
Oh,
far from where I live. It's like maybe 20 minutes drive. So it's
okay.
very doable, because
Okay.
at least 3 days you can manage.
Okay. All right. So that's
Mhm,
what I want to know. When you work for Apple, I know I had a friend of mine who worked for Google, and he would come and give
mhm.
us computers. Do you guys get all these free goodies? Do you get, as an employee, whenever there's a new iPhone or whatever, do you guys get a discount? Do you guys get this stuff for free? How does that work?
Yeah, I know when my kids tell their classmates that my mom works for Apple, everybody is like, please tell your mom to get me an
An
iPhone. Please
iPhone.
tell your mom to get me a MacBook.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of friends like,
Mhm.
can we come to your house? Maybe your mom will give us iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I'm at the data center.
Okay.
Data centers. There's the retail side that sells this
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
products and everything, but I'm
Yes.
in there. I'm
You
in
did it.
the
But
data
you
center
but you're
section.
still an
Yeah, so
employee.
I'm still an employee. I can get these things at a very good discounts,
Oh, okay.
as
That's what
an
I wanted to
employee.
know.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, you usually given discounts to purchase
Okay.
other products.
Okay. Hey, you wanna buy a new iPhone? Hey,
Yeah,
it is my employee ID.
yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so
We do is,
mhm,
like, on the data center side, we have to manage your data for you to be able to use that Mac on
mhm,
that iPhone.
yeah,
So if the data centers are not performing well, even
mhm,
your MacBooks and iPads will
yeah,
not function. So that is
okay,
how sensitive the data centers are.
okay. All right. You're still doing your master's, pursuing your master's?
I'm still doing my master's, but I'm almost finishing. I'm still
Okay.
doing it. It took a little bit of time, but I'm almost finishing.
Okay. All right. So that is
Mhm.
good. And you love working for Apple. I'm sure you love the flexibility of being able to work from home, go to the office 3 days and work from home the other 2 days. How does that work for you? Especially you have little
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, especially, yeah, it works very well. That is why sometimes I've been telling people that because I know there are young women here with young kids who are really struggling, looking for nannies, and you know how expensive it
Yeah.
is over here to get a nanny. So I've been telling
Yeah.
them that why don't you just even try analytics, because you
Mhm.
can even get 100% remote job. You never know. It
Yeah.
will help you to save on gas. It will help you to save on that cost of paying a nanny. It will make
Yeah.
you, you know, it will make you to stabilize
Yeah.
mentally, because
Mhm.
you're working from home. You can watch over your kids. You can drop and pick your kids from school anytime.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just the best for I think for mothers with young kids.
Mhm.
For those who love IT, analytics is the way to go.
Okay. So now
Yeah.
you are in school, you're still pursuing your master's and working for Apple. But then the reason I actually even know of you is because
Yeah.
you, as you are in America,
Mm-hmm.
you are such a
Yes.
pace setter, you are a go-getter, like we've heard from
Mm-hmm.
your story, so there's no stopping you.
Mm-hmm.
You start this school, DMK, and that's how I
Mm-hmm.
found out about you. So talk to us about this school. What is it? How do people join? What are you teaching them? How did you come up with the idea? Because I think that's amazing. For somebody who came here during COVID and to have achieved everything that you just shared and more
Yeah.
on top of that, start your own school. So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about that.
Okay, so Liz, thank you so much for that question. So when I landed here, of
Mhm,
course, talking to people, everybody was like, "Oh my goodness, me, I'm doing nursing. Me, I'm doing healthcare. Me, I'm doing what?" So
mhm,
I'm like, "Wait a minute, am I the only one who is in a different career over here? What's going on?
mhm,
Where will we get engineers from? Where will we get lawyers from? You know, where will we get pilots from?" And you know, this is a land that you can become anything you want as long as you're determined
mhm,
and you're passionate enough to go for it. And that is when I was like, I can even help our people to get into analytics, because maybe some go into healthcare because they don't have the know-how
mhm,
or they don't know where to start. Like now, for instance, with STEM courses, you know, engineering courses, IT. So I have a very good friend of mine
mhm,
who was running
mhm,
DMK,
mhm,
and we had a conversations, and we were like, you know what, we can join forces, become
mhm,
partners, and
mhm,
run the school together,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
And that is when we started DMK IT
mhm,
Solution School of Analytics together. He's a professor. He's based in California,
mhm,
and through this school, I knew that I can help our people, especially Kenyans who come over here,
mhm.
and maybe join healthcare courses, not because they are passionate about healthcare courses, but because they don't have any other avenue to take apart from
So
healthcare.
basically what you're saying is there are people, of course, who will go into a profession, not because they are passionate, because of course, nursing is a great profession. There are people
Mm-hmm.
who that's what they want to do, just like some people are teachers and that's what they want to do. So you're talking about somebody feeling like I have nothing else to do. This is the only thing I can do, even though I don't want to do it, but you're giving them options.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, you know what? Let me just go out there, because me, I'm an extrovert. You know, I love talking to people. I love networking. So when I spoke to a number of Kenyans, I could feel like most of them they don't want to do healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
They were even engineers. Some were even engineers in Kenya, but come here. I don't know whether I can call it in quotes fear of the system. They don't want to spread their wings, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
fly higher. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, so I've been telling people that, you know what, we can help you to get into IT, especially analytics. So
Mm-hmm.
you can join our school.
Mm-hmm.
We give you this kind of foundation. We help you to get a job, maybe as a business analyst, as a data analyst. Then from there, once you get the job experience, you can maybe go ahead and maybe do bachelor's in maybe computer science, bachelor's in business analytics, like just to help people kickstart their career very well.
So
And you see now, because I was
let's
already
make sure they understand. Let's use layman's language here. So
Mhm,
because we don't like I don't understand what all this stuff you're talking about.
mhm,
Um
mhm,
so this certification,
mhm,
it's how long does it take? So somebody come, let's say a new person come here from Kenya or somebody who is already here, it really doesn't matter, and they're listening to you and you are saying this is a market that is not saturated, because that's what I'm picking from you. Even the reason you are able to come here and as new as you are pursuing careers that are not so saturated, so
Market.
yeah, to get
Yeah.
to get a job in that market.
Yeah. So to start with, I can tell you, I can give you some few a little background about analytics. So analytics is all about dealing with data.
Mm-hmm.
And with technological development
Mm-hmm.
and use of social media since COVID, people are really utilizing social media a
Yes.
lot.
Yes.
So companies are getting a lot of data through social media.
Mm-hmm.
So the role of data analyst or business analyst is just to help the company to get value from this data.
Okay.
So so their role is to come in
Mm-hmm.
as data analyst,
Mm-hmm.
help companies clean up this data, that is convert this raw data
Yeah.
into useful data
Yeah.
using tools, right, that will give management reports, maybe in forms of dashboards, in form
Yeah.
of bar graphs, in form
Yeah.
of line graphs for decision making. That is typically what analytics is all about,
Okay.
right? And that is what we offer at DMK IT Solutions School of Analytics.
Okay.
So we teach people data analytics for now and business analysis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our courses takes only 4 months. So you take only 4 months to get this skill.
Okay.
And the good thing about the professor who I'm using, he's very patient with students. So even for those who don't have any IT exposure, Liz, believe me, when you join DMK IT Solutions, we shall be able to take you in phases from the basic knowledge until you get into the advanced level. So we make sure that nobody has been left behind. So even if you don't have any IT background, any analytics background, you just have Form 4 certification, we shall help you to excel. Within those 4 months, we shall help you to excel and become and transition into a new career, analytics world.
So you are saying somebody who has no clue in any type of computer background other than going on Facebook and Twitter and whatever, Instagram, a green person can
Yes.
come in, enroll, and in a period of 4 months, they can learn and they can become a data analyst. That's what you're saying?
Exactly. But I usually tell students that it's not a walk in a park. When I was learning data analytics, I think I used to sleep like 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. I could, take classes during the day. I told you we offer classes during weekends. Take classes during the weekend. Then at night, I'll still go back because we have a lot of materials on YouTube and revise, So it's not a walk in a park. You have to put in work. There are assignments that you guys will be given. There are group discussions, projects, name it. And then another thing that I've really done for our students, like I've gone above and beyond for our students. I've been looking for contracts with companies out here globally that can offer internship.
So does that mean people from different countries, not just from America, can enroll in your school, your own school?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody, even if you're in Kenya, even if you're in Tanzania, even if you're in Nigeria, even if you're in South Africa, Asia, Europe, name it, you can join our school because we offer classes online.
Okay.
Then once we train you after 4 months, like I was explaining before, I've gotten a lot of contracts with companies, global companies, name it, in the US, in Canada, in Europe, in Asia, China, Korea, Malaysia, name it. So I've gotten into contact with companies that will be offering internship to our students.
Okay.
And the reason why I have gone above and beyond to look for internship for our students, it's because I've walked through this path.
Yes.
I know it's not easy to come from school, Liz. Don't be cheated. And then direct, boom, you become a good data analyst or a business analyst. You need this kind of corporate exposure as well, You need to work with people. You need to learn a lot of tools, Remember, we're just giving you what we are training you in school. You need to go and get, you need to get exposed now to the real world, right? So this kind of internship or training or corporate exposure, we really help our people to kickstart their careers in corporate very well. So it's a must. Before you graduate from DMK IT Solutions, it's a must for my students, all our students, to take these interns for a period of 4 months before they graduate.
So the internship is 4 months after they're done?
It's 4 months. It's 4 months as well. So 4 months learning, 4 months in school. Because for me, I'm just not doing it for the sake of, for the sake of,
Yeah.
taking somebody's school fees and, letting somebody to figure out what they will do
Yeah.
after that. No, for
Yeah.
me, it's about creating value, right? Helping people to elevate their careers in analytics. And that
Okay.
is why I've made it a must. Once you take classes with us, once you pass your projects with us, and remember, we
Yeah.
offer real world projects.
Yeah.
The kind of projects that we offer are the kind of projects that you will still face in a bank like Bank of America.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we give our students these real world projects to get them exposed to the corporate dynamics. You learn how to work with teams, you learn how to handle pressure, you learn how to handle difficult teammates, all that kind of stuff. So once you
So,
finish up learning with us, we take you down for that for those internships for a period of 4 months. Then from there you can now graduate.
so basically for internship, you guys take care of that. So whoever enrolls with your school, you are responsible of placing them in different companies for
Yes,
internship.
yes,
They don't
yes,
have
yes.
to fight their own. Okay.
No. We have companies, so they have to start onboarding processes. They have to do an interview as well and make sure that
Okay.
whatever they are
Yes.
looking for, it
Yes.
matches with the kind of company that we will. So we just don't
Okay.
do it. They
They have to. Yes. Yeah.
there has to be a mutual understanding between the
Yes.
student and the employer.
Okay. Got you.
That is how serious we've taken things, Liz.
Okay. That is good. That is good. Question for you. Because I know a lot of people are gonna want to know this one. Somebody taking these classes, let's say from Kenya, let's talk about Kenya because this is what Jano is about. But of course, you're open to people from other countries. So I'm gonna use Kenya or Africa as an example. Somebody enroll in your classes. Maybe they just finished high school in Kenya, or maybe they just want a new career direction. They are done with their 4 months with you. Do they have to take internship in Kenya, or would they have an opportunity maybe to get internship in like let's say in America, in Europe, in Malaysia, India, wherever, or do your students have to do internship in the country where they reside?
Now, thank you so much. That's a very good question, Liz, that you've asked. So now, even for those who are outside the US or for instance Africa, because that is the example that you've given.
Yeah.
So after training with us, we are giving people 3 options to choose. 3 continents to choose from. If you want to if you want to work in North America, there's Canada and the US.
Yeah.
If you want to work in South America, there's Argentina and Brazil. If you want to work in Europe, if you want to work in Asia, if you want to work in Australia, we have companies all over the world. So we give you 3 choices. So if you want to work in North America, we expose you to companies in Canada and America. From those 3 choices, we give you we find a company that has a mutual understanding with you, like your goals and their goals, if they rhyme. You go there, right? So you can work from anywhere because these internships are remote. Right, you work
they're
you're supposed to
remote.
work online. They are remote, yeah. And even in Africa, funny enough, we even have countries that are offering, that have signed contracts to offer internship to our students. In Africa so far, we're in 3 countries. We're in South Africa. We have companies in South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya.
Yeah.
So if you want to if you want to work for a company in South Africa, you just have to work it from the comfort of your own living room.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Yes.
That is good. And what are the probability of you've done an internship with a company, let's say in Canada or South Africa, America, whatever, and then eventually get a job there? I know like here in America, they are very strict. Like if companies have to hire somebody from another country, you have to make sure that there is no American who can fill that that position. So they can now bring people from outside. So do you think, or do you fight, because you're already in it, given that this is a market that is not saturated, that they're still in need of more people, that is like maybe might be a door for some people. Again, you can do this wherever. You can get a job in Kenya, get a job in South Africa, wherever you are. But I'm asking this because I know a lot of people are going to be asking this question. Oh, doesn't mean I can come to America if I take this course and maybe I can hook up with a company there. Maybe after internship, door might open. Do they need to further their studies, maybe to even stand the chance to get a job in big corporations whether in their own country or in another country?
That's a good question, Liz, as well. So analytics right now, it's actually even gaining roots in Africa. So it's
Yeah.
global, right? So even in Kenya, the good thing about even for those who are in Kenya or Africa rather,
Yeah.
if you train with us and we give you that global tech exposure,
Yeah.
with companies because we have companies in China, Korea, Malaysia, companies that are very much ahead when it comes to technological development. The good thing about working with such kind of companies, as long as you are good at your work, right? There's a possibility of getting employed on a permanent basis. So it depends on how you perform.
Yeah.
Nobody will let you go if you're a performer. Nobody
Yeah, of course,
will
of
keep
course.
you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is a secret that I'm telling my students, that you just come, make sure that you get everything on your fingertips from school. Then from there, go and work hard. And I usually tell people, like, how does a company keep you as an asset?
Yeah.
For example, if you're hired as a data analyst, make sure you understand what goes on around the company. Like, even if you're not in a particular department, just make sure you understand what goes on, the kind of projects they are doing. Just make sure you become an asset, such that even if your time comes up for you to go, they will feel pain to let you go, because you understand the dynamics of the company, right?
Yes.
So make yourself an asset, venture in all the departments, make sure you understand the company in and out, and trust me, you might be shocked. They might keep you.
Okay.
Another thing, the reason why people are preferring, especially to companies are preferring to employ, especially students who are in Africa, it's because that is an affordable labor compared to people who are here in the US or Europe. Like now, for instance, somebody who is getting $2,000 dollars in Africa, if you give that money to somebody who's in Africa, that's a lot of money compared to somebody here who is in the US. So trust me, statistically, numbers don't lie. Those companies are preferring to hire people based in Africa. So the goal is go there and shine. That's all.
Okay.
Right. They will not let you go.
Okay. And like you say, even if you're not here or in whichever country in person, the fact that you have a chance to get hired by a company that you can work online while you are still in your country.
Yes.
When you're paid, you're going to make more money than some of the companies. So that makes sense. Now, I have a question. Something crossed my mind. There could be somebody who has a full-time job. Like we say, maybe you're a teacher, maybe you are a nurse, maybe you are whatever profession you're in, okay? A lawyer, whatever. And then you decide, you know what? This data analyst thing sounds exciting to me. I would like to do that on the side. What happened to them? Because I'm sure they can take the classes because they are virtual classes. But then what happened when they have to do internship? Because this person already has a full-time job. And one of the requirement is when you're done or part of this course is you take internship for 4 months. How does that work?
The good thing with our internship programs, they are very flexible. So you're
Okay.
supposed to take them between 10 to 30 hours a week.
Oh,
so it's not that
okay.
you're supposed to
So it's
be
not
there
a regular
8
work
to 5.
day.
No. As
Okay,
long as you take at least 10 to 30 hours. And you see
okay.
now the good thing about the more hours you take, the more hours like the better your chances of getting, even hired by the company,
Okay.
right? So if you cannot work more than like 10 hours, it's okay. At least minimum is 10 hours,
Okay.
So if people are employed, they can still enroll for training with us, and also maybe take approximately maybe 20 hours a week.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that I get. All right. So that's good. That's good. So if you have a full-time job, there's no reason to not, if you're interested in data analysis, there's no reason to not get started. Walk us through what, not necessarily the actual course, what are the training, like when do they meet, and what if I can't make it? Let's say you have it's a type of a boot camp you said set up. What if I cannot make it because either I have to work on a Saturday when you are teaching? How does that work?
Thank you so much for that question as well. We usually hold our classes on weekends, Saturdays and Sunday, from 8 a.m. Pacific time to 2 p.m., maybe 2 to 3 p.m. But usually hold classes weekends only, because some people are working during the weekend, during the weekday. So we try to hold our classes during the weekend. If you can't make we usually record our
Okay.
classes. So
Okay.
if you miss maybe one Sunday because of this reason or another, we can offer you recorded
The replay.
session, and you can also be able to approach the professor in case of any clarification or in case
Okay.
there's something that you did not understand very well. So we are very flexible.
Okay.
Then the charges, we charge $4,000.
Okay.
$4,000, which are payable in installments,
Okay.
as long as you at least you make a payment of like 1,000 before the classes start. Like now we have our next classes are on 24th February. That
February.
is when we shall be having our February, the next month.
Okay.
Yeah, so as long as you're supposed to clear this balance before you finish up the class, we
Okay.
usually give people, we don't rush people. You can pay within a duration of 4 months. So
Okay.
by the time at least you're finishing class with the professor,
Okay.
make sure to have cleared that kind of balance.
Okay. All right. That's amazing. That's amazing. I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
So it's $4,000
Yes.
a deposit of at least 1,000, and then clear the
1,000,
balance
yes.
within the duration of the within the 4 months that they are there.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, so that is good. You talked about your next class starting in February 24. I'm glad you brought that, because I was going to ask you, what is it like, because you don't want to have me joining today and then the people I'm joining are already ahead of me. So you have this new, like, what do you call it?
Cohort.
Cohort, yeah, that's what I was looking for. So that they move as a group and use this, that afresh, and nobody is left behind because the other started ahead of them.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so that's good. Let's see, what else? What about people in Kenya? Do they still pay the same? Like if they're in Kenya, other Africa countries, do they still pay the same?
For those outside the US, we usually give them two options. We have a self-paced class that we charge 1,800, whereby you just go. It's on the portal. You go, enroll, and pay, and start. Going through. We have made those materials ourselves, so
Okay.
it's still very resourceful. The only difference is that you're not going to get the professor in person, like
Okay.
for those who are paying. For those who are paying for the 4,000.
that.
But it's still a good one. You can still take your time, but make sure you finish everything within those 4 months, and you still get internship positions even if you've taken the self-paced one, because we'll still offer you internships after that. So it all depends, because some people prefer, I want materials, then I want my me time. In case of any consultation, I'll consult. Professor will be there for consultation in case you need him. And remember, the professor who I use he has very good, tremendous experience in analytics. He's a Microsoft certified, just to make sure that our students get top-notch education.
Yeah.
So he's just the best. So I'm telling students that just come join DMK IT Solutions. We have a lot of materials on YouTube. I know maybe you've seen our materials on YouTube that we made.
Yeah.
Professor is accessible, anytime that you want to consult something. So why not? I think we've set the pace up high.
Okay.
Yeah, for our students.
So there's the self
Pace.
what is it?
Pace.
Yeah, and that's 1,800.
Yes.
They just access the training at their own time, at their own pace. All right.
True.
And then there's a 4,000 where you have a live
professor,
live classes with professors, but you also if you're not available or if you're not able to be there live, you have access to the replays and whatever the recorded ones.
True.
Okay, so that is good. So 1,800 and 4,000 for the entire 4 months. Do viewers of our show get a discount?
Of course, for those who will join, the good thing about our portal, when people are signing up, they will get a position whereby they're supposed to say where they got the referred from. So for those who will be listening that they got to know DMK through Leeds YouTube channel, they will of course be something after that. So thank you so much for raising that.
Thank you. You guys, you have no reason to not join. If you go there, let Mary and the professor or the school know that you found out about the school through watching this show, and you get some discount if you'll be interested. Mary, is there anything else you want to add as far as the school that maybe I didn't ask you or you would like to share so that we make sure we don't leave any questions out there, because I know a lot of people probably will be interested in this.
Yes, Liz, there's one thing. I have a lot of students who have enrolled for the upcoming cohort.
Okay.
Who are based in Kenya, and those students are students who are on their last year in university. Like now,
Okay.
for instance, I have students who are with St. Paul's University, Limuru,
Mhm.
Strathmore University Business School, JKUAT. So those are the students who are telling me, you know what, Mary, let me just take this class because I'm doing bachelor's in computer science, computer engineering,
Mhm.
IT. At least for me to, because you see now, you know, we are not, even if we work very closely with university students
Yeah.
or universities, we're not here to just rule them out or
Yeah.
just say that they are not teaching, they're not giving the students the best, but we are just here to supplement whatever they are teaching
Mhm.
and make sure that we bridge the gap between the graduate and the employer.
Okay.
Just create a very conducive environment whereby the graduate will have the right soft, hard, and technical skills to
Mhm.
get into that company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm working very closely with university students by training them first.
Mhm.
For those who are in IT fields, training them, giving them this training,
Mhm.
then exposing them to the global tech, to giving them that global tech exposure. You know, because some have to do internships. Remember, some have to do internships also in Kenya
Yeah.
before they graduate.
Yes.
So we are telling them just come just to give you some more technical background.
Yeah.
From there, we expose you to, you know, to the global corporate world. Then
Mhm.
from there, you can go ahead and graduate. Then from there, trust you me, that graduate, Liz, even if it's not even getting employed, he
Mhm.
or she has the right skills to even start his or her own consultancy firm. We
Okay.
just make sure that we bridge that gap to
Okay.
avoid people who finish up engineering or IT courses and then end up tamarking. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Got you.
Yeah. So if we can work very closely with universities in Kenya or
Mhm.
you know the world at large, we
Yeah.
can really try to match that gap of unemployment, especially when it comes to our graduates.
Okay. Wow, that sounds
Yes.
really, really good.
You know, sometimes there are schools that are training people, Liz, but
Mhm.
after training, they wash their hands.
Yeah.
Students don't know where to start. They don't know even how to make a resume, but we are doing all that. Look at,
You are on
like
your own.
last month, I really called a lot of companies, you know,
Mhm.
asking them to train my students, you know, because I know with this kind of training, even getting a good job will not be hard, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I just want to make sure that people are comfortable and they're able to get jobs, but they also have to work hard and put
Yeah.
work. There's
Of
nothing
course.
that comes easy. You know,
Of
they
course.
have to work
Of
hard
course.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So quality over everything is my
Yes.
motto.
Yes,
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you. And like you said,
Mm-hmm.
even if you get somebody, you could get somebody internship with the best company in the world. They still have to go
Mm-hmm.
and perform. They have to go,
True.
they interview
True.
themselves. You can do that for them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get the internship, they have to give their best so that maybe they stand a
True.
chance of, hey, we're not gonna let this person go. We're just gonna transition from internship to like we hiring
True.
you, whether
Mm-hmm.
physically there or working for them remotely. So that is amazing,
True.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
I think 5 years from now, I want our business to expand. You know, we do a lot of consultancy, we do a lot of training and mentorship. So I think that is where the focus is. I think for now, I've gained enough experience, so I
Yeah.
want to venture now into my own world
Mhm.
and create value and create impact globally, like
Mhm.
we've started. Yeah, that is where I want to see myself 5 years from now.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing. That
yeah.
is awesome, awesome, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so, so much, Mary, for sharing all that you have shared with us tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very impressed. Your story, your
Mm-hmm.
journey from
Yes.
Kenya to
Mm-hmm.
America just in the
Yeah.
last 3 years, and
Mm-hmm.
what you've been able to put together is absolutely impressive, and that
Mm-hmm.
will inspire a lot of people to just
Yes.
kick the fear aside,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
pursue your dreams, go for what you want, and
I know.
don't worry whether you just came here, whether you came
Mm-hmm.
here 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or you just came here last year. Look at what Mary was able to achieve within a period of even just 1 year. Tell them how they can reach you. Either your website, how do people connect with you?
It's
Okay.
Mary.Washeke, WACEKE,
Mhm.
at DMKITSolutions.com,
Okay.
or even through my phone number. I get a lot of calls on my phone number, my
Mhm.
office phone number. It's 480
Mhm.
208
Mhm.
6000. Just call me and we shall be able to sign up and give you discounts for those who will enroll through watching us through this YouTube channel.
Amazing, amazing. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pin Mary's phone number and email and website in the description box below so that it stays there. So you are always going to have access to her in case you did not get it right. So we're gonna make sure that that is pinned. All right, thank you so much, Mary. I appreciate your time and I look forward to talking to you again. And I know for sure you'll be seeing some people who will watch this show and decide that, hey, this is something that I can try. And for you viewers, the sky is the limit. Look at what this girl has done in just 3 years of being in America. You can do it too.
Thank you, Liz.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You have a wonderful night. I appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll get to connect again.
Of course, let's do this some other time, okay?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And thank you for the wonderful work that you are doing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, have a very good night.
You too have a wonderful night.
In a world where opportunities are boundless and connections pave the way for success, there's one event that stands out above the rest. The Jumbolist Expo 2024. After a resounding success in New Jersey, Jumbolist is back. From May 24th to May 27th, join us for an unforgettable journey at the Jumbolist Expo 2024 as we celebrate Memorial Day weekend in a grand fashion, a weekend where dreams meet opportunity. Together, we are unlocking those two possibilities. So maybe you're wondering what sets the Jumbolist Expo apart. It's where every business begins with Jumbo, a gathering of brilliant minds, innovative ideas, and limitless potential. This isn't just an expo. It's a convergence of industry titans, thought leaders, and aspiring entrepreneurs, all united by a shared vision of growth and success. For more details and inquiries, don't forget to reach us through our social media pages, our phone numbers, and our website at www.jumbolist.com. Jumbolist, every business begins with Jumbo.